Greetings everybody, this is Marcel Williams again with a talk concerning current affairs and the situation that we are engaged with in terms of the current struggle with health concerning the COVID-19 and its threats. I wish you well. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. And the last time I spoke about, sudden and shocking changes, and I gave several examples in the past and how we should be mentally prepared for changes. But, many of the shocking changes may be sudden, but there's those that are also slow, gradual, a kind of a process. I've got two examples today to go through to make us aware of how these processes happen. The first example I have is of Nazi Germany in the 1930s. The Second World War did not just happen. There was a process. It first started in the 1930s with anti-Semitic views and speeches made by Nazi leaders like Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister. Then followed discriminating laws against Jews, the stripping of their properties. There was also the Kristallnacht, the burning of books written by Jewish writers, the burning and vandalizing of property belonging to Jews. And then what came next was the special identification, where Jews had to wear the Star of David. And then followed the pogroms and the policy of rehousing of Jews in Europe. And this led to the so-called concentration camps, and there followed the mass murders at concentration camps like Auschwitz, Dachau, Bergen-Belsen, Sobibor, Treblinka, and others. And of course, the last issue was what they decided, the final solution, which was the ethnic cleansing of Europe of all Jews, which resulted in 6 million Jewish people being killed in the concentration camps. The second example of a process that I want to present to you is South Africa, where the struggle for freedom just did not occur in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s in isolation. There was a process. When the National Party came into power in 1948, they brought in the policy of apartheid. Then followed the legislation to remove non-white representation in Parliament, and then followed the easier legislation to reach segregation and forced removals. We hear of the legislations like the Group Areas Act, the Race Classification Act, segregation of public facilities, the Mixed Marriages Act. All of these acts and many more was legislation that was part of this process of disenfranchising and disadvantaging the non-white population in South Africa. And the list goes on. And today what we observe is a similar kind of a process happening in the United States of America. There is a lot of polarization around the person of a president. And with the new administration, there is a call for unity. But it's strange that unity also can mean in certain people's eyes that you must agree with me, otherwise you're not working towards unity. And freedom of opinion became under stress. If you don't agree with me, you can be labeled names like insurrectionist and terrorist. I gave now the extreme examples, but there are many others. And then, freedom of speech and opinion became curtailed and is actually becoming more curtailed as we're going forward. Even on social media, there is a process to limit freedom of speech. We have things like the media where there is fact-checking, blocking of information, twisting of certain statements, and generally denying the opportunity to speak freely on controversial issues, so-called controversial issues. So genuine freedom of speech does not exist as we experienced it before. And the your opinion and your freedom of speech is a fundamental human right that's enshrined in the constitutions of most modern countries. So I will speak a bit more about this issue in detail, perhaps on another occasion, but just for me to conclude and say that stay safe, stay well, and stay alive.